Hello, and welcome to another episode of Talk About It. I'm Dion Atkins, coming to you from the Salisbury-Rowan Community Action Agency. And today, we have with us Ms. Hope Oliphant, the Executive Director of Main Street Marketplace and Meeting Place, and Ms. Susan Bloom, who is the coordinator for their food pharmacy. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I'm so glad to have you all here. So I'm looking here at your mission statement, and it says that Main Street Marketplace and Meeting Place is reimagining charity and creating a healthier community through partnerships, education, and access to resources, fostering long-term impacts. So with your mission statement, it's talking about reimagining charity. Can you tell us more about what that actually means and how it shows up in your work?
Yes. Well, I think for us, reimagining charity is really just thinking outside of the box when it comes to a traditional charity model. And to describe it a little bit better, I will reference an old Chinese proverb that most people are probably familiar with, but maybe take it one step further. So the Chinese proverb I'm speaking of is, give a man a fish and he'll eat for the day, teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. But to take that analogy further, we also have to be asking the questions of how much does it cost to fish the pond? Or actually, who even has access to fish the pond? And then even better, to ask the question, are there so many free fish given away that people that know how to fish don't even need to go fishing anymore?
That's right.
And so we really want to look at the root causes and what barriers, or better yet, what systems are in place that keep people from moving to a healthy and full life.
Okay.
And I want to share, in the beginning, we were a food pantry, and we came about when the Pilatex mills closed in Rowan County many years ago. It was devastating to us, and so there was a real need for food resource provision and clothing as well. But many years later, we were still serving the same people chronically coming for food. And so we wanted to move beyond that and begin something that really addressed the root causes and not just a symptom.
Definitely. So how do you feel that this charity model creates a healthier community?
Yes. So one of the ways is that we really listen to our neighbors. And so by listening to our neighbors through our Getting Ahead program, it's a 15-week class to help people move to a more stable life. We were able to create a new system that really affects change in our own community, addressing some of the problems that we learned about in the Getting Ahead class. And the way it works is there are 3 prices on every item, and when people come in, they self-assess, and they know their situations better than we do, and so they can think about their family size and income, and as they read our chart, they can decide what works for their family. For example, the upper retail tier are people that would say, I'm financially stable and I'm able to pay full price, which also supports others in my community. Okay. Then our middle pricing tier is, it's a challenge to afford all my expenses, and I would appreciate shopping at a discounted price. And these are people that maybe don't meet the federal poverty guidelines, don't qualify for services, but yet don't make a living wage. And then the green tier, or the lower tier, is I cannot afford to purchase food without assistance. And so basically when people check out, they link themselves to a little MVP marketplace card, and they're able to get whatever pricing tier works for them.
Okay.
So really just reimagining charity by creating a new system. It's a community-powered market, because when you shop our market, then you are able to give back to others in the community. And we need everyone to shop. And we also hire the graduates of our Getting Ahead program. Okay. We partner with local farmers. So, it just really builds a healthier community.
Definitely. So could you share more about any other resources or education that you offer as part of your holistic approach?
Yeah, our food pharmacy program is really an extension of this holistic effort. So within this program, we've got 10 families that receive 3 meals a week for a period of 6 months. And they pay $10 per meal. They get to choose their meals from a seasonal menu, and they get recipe cards with a QR code on the back that leads to a cooking demonstration video, which is really helpful if folks aren't used to cooking or if they don't understand the recipe. So that's really neat. And within the seasonal menus, the recipes were full of fresh local produce that comes from the market, and the meals are a good size. They actually feed a family of about 4 to 6. Wow. Within the program, we talk about the pillars of health. There's nutrition education. The folks get a chronic disease prevention class. We talk about stress and exercise and sleep, and we do have community partners that help us along with this. So we have Community Care Clinic of Rowan County. They actually come in and do 3 free health assessments at the beginning, middle, and end of the program. So we're able to track health parameters. So we're tracking blood sugar, their hemoglobin A1C. We're tracking the blood pressure. We're tracking perceived stress. We're tracking lots of things, even body composition, to see how that changes over the course of the 6 months. We're also partnering with the YMCA, so the participants receive a free 6-month membership to the YMCA, and so we can really pull in and enhance that exercise piece. So that's really cool. And then Catawba College is actually writing this up as a research project. So it's really interesting to see how these folks are able to improve their health parameters. The overall goal is to help people shift from a diet that's full of processed foods and sugar over to a whole foods approach. That's really our main goal. We emphasize, high fiber foods, healthy fats, and high quality proteins. And we truly believe in the connection between nutrition and health, and we want folks to feel empowered that they can prevent or manage or even reverse chronic disease. So we want folks to make that connection. So there's that, but in both the Getting Ahead and the food pharmacy program, we talk about ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences. Yes. Those are traumatic events in a child's life, like abuse, neglect, divorce, physical abuse. And we know that folks that have a higher ACEs score have increased risk for chronic stress, mental health issues, physical illness, risky behaviors later in life, and even puts them at a higher risk for developing chronic disease. So we do integrate ACEs, into both of these programs.
That is absolutely awesome. So, Susan, you mentioned the Getting Ahead program. I'd like to hear more about it. Can you all explain more?
Yes, sure. I'll be glad to share. Our Getting Ahead program is basically a 15-week class to help someone move to a more stable life. And it's not really taught, it's facilitated. It's actually the way that we came up with the equitable market, because around the table each week we have dinner and we listen to each other and we learned from our neighbors what they needed. They needed fresh produce and meat and access to those things. And while they had some money, they might not be able to afford healthy foods. And so the market does that. But the class itself is really powerful, because the people in the class look at, what does my life look like now? And what do I want my future story to be? But even more so, what resources do I need to get there? And so they do a self-assessment. They also do a community assessment to look at what resources are in our community and what are we lacking and what do they need. So it really empowers them to take, ownership of their situation, of their life. They're given the knowledge and the tools and the power to do for themselves. And our goal is not that they continue to come for help from us, but rather they're able to live a happy and fulfilling life that they've created for themselves. And we just provide the resources and the opportunity to get there.
That sounds absolutely awesome. Those are the type of resources that we definitely need in the community.
we truly are fostering long-term impact with our programs. And we want people to learn how to make lasting health and habit changes for themselves and for their families. In our classes, we also talk about resilience factors such as PACEs. And those are the protective factors like having supportive adults in our lives, community connections, and coping strategies, because these all help buffer the effects of chronic stress. And so understanding the ACEs can really lead to self-compassion and then empowerment, really to heal. I mean, that's ultimately what we're after. The tools given in food pharmacy to help people learn to manage their stress, strengthen their bodies, and build social support. The goal for long-term impact is that when we partner with families, they no longer need our support. And our success is not measured by how many people we serve, but by how many no longer need our help because they're moving into stability and they have the ability to give back themselves. So that's really what we want to see. And we're really looking for that ripple effect, right? So because as individuals and their families become stronger, then that really leads to a healthier, more vibrant, resilient community.
Definitely. You know, I'm listening to you all, and I'm hearing such similarities between our missions and, you know, the impacts that we want to see in the community. So that is just so, for me, it's hopeful, you know, that we're all on the same page and we're all working towards the same mission at the end of the day. So with everything that you've told the audience today and we've talked about, what are your main takeaways? What would you like for those listening to remember about Main Street Marketplace and Meeting Place?
Yeah, I think for us, neighborhood connectivity or relationships is the root of what we do. And so really listening and learning from our neighbors and, you know, moving beyond simple solutions of just giving a box of food, but rather addressing root cause and looking at the whole person is what we're about. And it takes a relationship to do that. And then, you know, building sustainable solutions. And by that, I mean something that can continue year after year. And so part of that with us is our market. When you're shopping in that upper tier, you're helping to purchase the food. And so also, rather than give someone a box of food, we're giving them a job and allowing them to make money to buy their own food. And so just thinking of long-term solutions, as Susan said, that helps people move beyond needing help, but rather not only being able to be stable, but being able to give back. That's the greatest gift of all, because I think all of us want to do that.
That's right. That's exactly right. So how can we all best support your work in the community?
Well, we need everyone to come shop our market. The folks actually shopping in the blue tier, like Hope mentioned, they help subsidize or help pay for that lower tier. So we need everybody to shop. And nobody knows which tier you're shopping in. So that's a really beautiful thing. And everybody has dignity when they're in the market. And we can all shop together. And that's a really wonderful thing.
And can I just say, our market is beautiful. And I think everyone deserves a nice place to shop. And we use local farmers, and the produce and our vendors are local too, so we're helping the entire community. Last year we generated $28,000 for local farmers.
Oh, wow.
So I think anyone would want to shop our market
Definitely.
too.
Right.
Well, I'll be there. I'll tell you that.
Okay, good. Wonderful.
I plan on coming.
Yeah, we also have opportunities for volunteers to come in and help us, whether it's packing the food pharmacy meals. We need help with that. We also have a Christmas store each year that's just wildly popular and helpful and such a wonderful blessing to the community. So there's always other opportunities to shop or donate. So if you're not on our newsletter list, we would love for you to just reach out to us, and we can get you on the list so you can stay updated on all the different ways throughout the year that we can offer volunteering or donating opportunities.
Sounds great.
And one last thing, our biggest new launch is our meal kit subscription program. And so, again, talking about being sustainable, currently about 20% shop in that upper retail tier, but 80% shop in the lower tier. So we definitely need more revenue to be able to pay the payroll. And so our meal kit subscription program not only helps us, it helps others in the community continue to shop, it helps local farmers, but it's like HelloFresh, but better because it's local and it has a good mission behind it. And so you can subscribe to our meal kit program, and you get 1 or 2 meals you choose per week with all the ingredients and the recipe that you need, and it's locally sourced, and you pick it up and enjoy it with your family, and it's just doing your grocery shopping for you, and you're also supporting your community.
That is so awesome. That is great. So how do those in the community who want to come, who want to shop, who want to volunteer, how do we all get in touch with you?
Sure. You can go to our website, marketandmeeting.org, or we have a Facebook, Instagram page as well. We're on LinkedIn, and you can look us up, and we're just our names, Hope at marketandmeeting.org. Reach out to us. We would love to have everyone come for a tour and a visit at any time. We also host the farmers market for our town in China Grove on Tuesday evenings from 4 to 7 beginning this May. And so you can come by and enjoy the farmers market and also visit our place and learn what we do.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you both for coming, for sharing about all of your resources I never would have known. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the work that you do in our community. And that concludes another episode of Talk About It. Thanks for joining us.